What is up, my people? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your boy Nassim the Dream, and we are continuing on with the NTD Awards with this video of my top 5 scores and soundtracks. Now, from here on out, we are going to be continuing on with the music niche that I go about with this channel, so stay in tune for continuous videos, and especially my most anticipated video of the year, my top albums of the year. And because of all the work on my plate, I'm going to do my best to make this video as short as possible because I really want to get all these videos out before Christmas, but we'll see. And we're going to dive right into it. Number 5, I will be awarding the number 5 spot to Hans Zimmer's newest work on the movie Top Gun: Maverick. Top Gun: Maverick is the highly anticipated sequel starring Tom Cruise and is directed by Joseph Kosinski. Now, Hans Zimmer is no stranger into the world of composition, having great highlights under his belt such as his work for the films Dark Knight and Inception. And films like those are ones that really give Hans Zimmer his credibility to his name. And in my opinion, this work that he did for this film is easily one that I feel like can stand side by side with these other works in these other films. The film itself is already pretty fantastic, but I feel like the moments that really need that human emotion injected into its scenes to deliver more thrilling and epic moments into the movie should be highly credited to Hans Zimmer. I felt the moments, especially in the climax, were super enthralling and really kept me on my toes with the excitement of this movie, and it's certainly something that really deserves high praise along with the film's achievements. Number 4, I will be awarding it to From Software's newest achievement,
for all of us.
Elden Ring. Elden Ring was this year's crowned victor of the Video Game Awards and is brought from developers From Software that brought us games such as Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Now, if you watched my top video games of the year, you know that I mentioned that this was a game that I really didn't get to check out all the way through because, you know, I'm not good. Not to mention, this was also my first From Software game that I really got to try out, so I really feel like I wasn't that ready for it, but I do want to build up to that hype one day. And this was also the very first style game from Software that I actually really got to play on my own, so I'm hoping that I can get used to the way the gameplay really is and hopefully get back into it someday. But for the moments that I did notice for the short time that I did play the game, already the opening is one of the highly remembered moments for me personally. It already made you feel like that you're about to open up into something so epic and just so entertaining. And for the moments that I checked out on the internet, such as the boss battles and the scores that go along with those bosses, man, were they just super epic, man, and they just felt like really unique, especially with the fight with Millennia. Damn, that was sick. I really felt like the composition made traveling way more interesting to the tail for the ear, and for the amount of certain unique points that you really reach into the game, this soundtrack really is endless and just has so much creative work into it. As much as I was happy that God of War achieved that award for the best score to Bear McCreary, if this game would have won best score, I wouldn't have been mad. We're gonna go straight into the number 3 spot, and I will be awarding that to Michael Giacchino's The Batman. The Batman was one of this year's highly acclaimed comic book movies of 2022, starring acts such as Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz, and is directed by Matt Reeves. Easily, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite comic book movies of the year, and it's certainly one of the best adaptations to the Batman story and to the lore I've ever seen. But hands down, Michael Giacchino, man, he fucking nailed the composition for this movie. I really felt like his approach to try to make this score so fitting for this style of comic book accuracy was just so well put together, and the amount of longevity that this composition really reaches, especially when it comes to trends, it's still pretty relevant in my opinion. The dark elements combining with its thrilling and eerie traits just makes such a remarkable addition to the movie, and I really felt like this was easily one of the best scores in comic book movie history, and is debatably better than the Hans Zimmer composition for The Dark Knight. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but listen, I really felt like this was the best fitting composition for this kind of Batman tale. This is something that I feel like a lot of comic book stans, especially Batman fans, can agree with. Diving right into number 2, I will be awarding the number 2 spot to Matthew Herbert for his work on the movie
Anyone can be chosen.
The Wonder. The Wonder is a Netflix brand film starring Florence Pugh and is directed by Sebastian Leo. Now, admittedly, I did just see this film and it's very fresh into my mind and I really did love it, but I felt like this score is debatably the best pick out of this list. But man, there was just something about this score, man, that really tensed up the moments on this film. It just really kept me, you know, just on my feet, and I was kind of just like freaked out in certain moments with this thriller, especially with the way it works into some of its eerie and ambient aesthetics. I felt like my skin was crawling at certain moments for this movie that made me feel even more tense, and some more than even some horror scenes that I've seen this year. Now, this is definitely a slow burner film, but it's definitely one that I think is worth the watch, especially for its very unique concept. But there's also scenes on here that I feel like potentially really lost me, but I got pulled right back in immediately because of this immaculate sound design choice from Matthew Herbert. This is just one of those artsy style narratives that really just bring in a lot of interest to watch, and the composition is one of the most must-see factors for this film. Number one, the number one spot for the best soundtrack and score of all 2022, I'm going to be awarding that to Bear McCreary's God of War Ragnarök. God of War Ragnarök is the highly anticipated sequel from the 2018 development for the Norse saga, starring Christopher Judge and Sonny Soljic, and is directed by Eric Williams. I already loved Bear McCreary's work on the first game. There were just so many moments, especially with the way it went about with its very Greek styles of operatic and symphonic type of music. It was just so well orchestrated, so well executed, and just so well thought out. It really made one of the best standout things for God of War 2018, and it's even better for this one. The emotional weight carried by tracks such as Rabe's Lament, The Mask, and Let It Go are ones that I still continuously play on repeat in my car to this very day. Bear McCreary really understood the assignment of what he wanted to achieve for this composition. He really went about with the best moments when it comes to the battle experience, with the boss battles, with the moments that need to hit emotionally, with the shocking moments, with the twists and turns. Every single little thing I think he went about with absolute perfection. Not to mention, I also really love the end credit soundtrack Blood Upon the Snow that brings on folk star Hosier, which is such a beautiful addition and such a fitting addition to this tale. The moments narratively that really had me tearing up were already so good, but I think what really pushed me all the way through from getting that waterworks out of my eyes was Bear McCreary. He really knew what he was doing, and man, he did an excellent job on here. Easily my number one spot. And that is my top 5 scores and soundtracks of 2022. Guys, let me know in the comments, what did you think of my list? What was your top 5? What were some of your favorite moments and scores in all video games and film and TV shows? Let me know in the comments, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get more content like this. It helps the channel out so much. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for the watch, and I'm gonna catch you for the next one. Deuces.